everyone, I'm Anne-Marie from brambleberry.com. Thanks so much for joining me on today's tutorial and project. I'm so excited because this is an ideal melt and pour project if you're new or a beginner. It deals with layering, suspending, that's right, those are poppy seeds that are suspended in there, and how to use color blocks to perfectly color your melt and pour soap each and every time. These watermelon soaps are scented with our watermelon sugar, which is really one of the favorite scents for all year round, but definitely summer. It smells like, yes, watermelon. It, yes, smells like sugar, but it also really smells like something like if you're laying around and you're sipping a delicious drink at a pool, this is that scent. It's kid friendly. Kids love it. And this project would be really good to do with kids as well. The first step for melt and pour is to chop up your melt and pour soap kind of into even chunks so they melt evenly in the microwave. And then for this, we're popping just a little bit of our magenta color chunk in so that our first layer ends up looking this gorgeous color. I'm using the Brambleberry Aloe Vera base, which has a full 5% aloe vera in there to make it nice and moisturizing and skin loving. I'm popping this in the microwave for about 1 to 2 minutes on 30-second bursts. So first things first, I'm just going to check and see how my color looks. I will say it looks pretty spectacular. If it wasn't, I could always add more at this point. I like to stir less because you can always add more color. You can't really take it out. Next, I'm going to add my fragrance. I'm just going to do about 0.3 ounces of the watermelon sugar in here. And it smells so good. I'm going to eyeball it. You can always weigh it at home. And then I'm going to stir this so that the soap gets thick enough to suspend the poppy seeds. If I pour it right now, when it's pretty warm, I bet this is about over 140. Let me check. Yes, it's above 140. It's at 160. Got a little hot there. Our sweet spot is between 120 and 130 to pour this and have it be suspending the poppy seeds. So we have a little bit of time to stir this and wait. Okay, so now we're right about 130, and I'm going to do just about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of my poppy seeds. What I'm going to look for is, are the poppy seeds staying suspended in my mixture? Because what the last thing we want is to pour into these molds and then have the poppy seeds go all to the bottom. So you can kind of look and go, all right, going to count to 5, and everything's staying really suspended. So now we're going to go ahead and pour. I'm going to tell you exactly this temperature because this is getting really perfect. It's getting just a little bit gloopy. We're at 123. So a little bit gloopy. Going to go ahead and pour. And so you don't pour all the way up. Remember, we need 3 layers. So you just pour about 1/3 to 2/3 of the way up. You can see this starting to get a little bit gloppy or gloopy. And that is just perfect because we want those layers to set up as well so we can have the second and third layer go on pretty quickly. And there we go. We're getting nice and hard. It's perfect, just enough. There we go. All done. Look at that. Okay. And now with this here, I'll wait a little bit and I'll just peel this all out because that'll be very satisfying and also help with cleanup. Now it's time for our white layer. This is just going to go in the microwave on 30-second bursts. All right, so my white is melted and we are a little hot to be pouring because if I pour right now, it's above 160. If I pour right now, it's going to melt my red layer or my magenta layer. So we don't want that. So I really do want this to be 130-ish or below before I pour it. So a couple things you can do. You can add some more melted white soap to here and that'll help pull the temperature down quicker. Or you can just sit and stir. And so I'm just going to stir because the key for layering melt and pour is indeed patience. Now it's ready to do our second layer. And we're going to do just a little bit of alcohol. Make sure we're breaking up any surface tension we have here. And then pour a very thin layer. And we're doing a very thin layer because we need, well, the other layer, the next layer, to have enough space. And 2, the very thin layer ensures that the red soap does not get melted by our white soap. That's one of the keys, is you want to make sure you're pouring cool enough that the magenta layer stays intact. And now we're on the final layer, which is our green layer. More aloe vera soap melted in 30-second bursts. This time I'm going to try really hard to keep my temps low so I don't have to wait so long to pour that third layer. So now my clear soap is barely melted. I mean, honestly, I'm probably gonna have to pop this back in. It's only at, oh, you know, it's a little hotter than I thought. It's about 155. So I'm gonna do tiny little chunks of the green and see if I can get those just to melt with the heat from the soap. And then I'm going to add fragrance to this. I didn't add it to my white layer because it was such a small layer, but this is on the back of the soap and it's a much larger layer. So I'm going to add a little bit of fragrance to this and keep monitoring the temps. And we're at about 0.3 again. And again, I eyeballed it. You can weigh it. All right, this has dropped in temperature to 130. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of risk my layers. So these are hard now. And although just kind of barely, this is still pretty fresh soap. I'm spraying a little bit of rubbing alcohol to ensure no surface tension. And I'm just going to go ahead and pour a thin layer. And I'm going to come back and fill these up after I make sure I have enough green to fill my whole thing up. And also that means that there's a little less soap so that if it's too warm, I'm not going to burst through and break my layers. But if I did, it's just soap, so that would be okay. And now that these are fully poured, I'm going to spray the back with just a little rubbing alcohol, even though I don't really see any bubbles at all. Ooh, there we go. There was one. And that gets rid of any bubbles. This just needs to sit for 4 to 6 hours or overnight, and then they'll be ready to pop out and use or give away right away. So we have our soap that we made, and it's been sitting in the mold for just a few hours. You can let this sit overnight, a couple days even, and using the silicone molds, it's really easy to pop out. You literally just pull gently away from the sides. You can see the airlock releasing, and then you push down and whoop, there you go. Perfect, gorgeous watermelon soap. Like, this is adorable. It is absolutely the ideal soap for summer. I love it so much. So these are ready now to wrap. You can use saran wrap, you can use shrink wrap, you can put it in a little cellophane baggie and use right away, give away right away, or yes, sell right away. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you're notified each and every time a new video comes out. And when you put this on social media and you show us how cute these are, be sure to hashtag it BrambleOn. Until next time, happy soaping.
Beautiful.
It smells really good too.
Yeah.
And now look, it's clean.
I know.